Hey everybody, it's Bob Crossan, Senior Managing Editor for Water and Waste Digest. I am here with Amelia Mioranza. She is the Program and Marketing Coordinator at IL Utilities, and she's also one of our 2021 WWD Young Pros. So, as you've probably noticed so far this month, we have been featuring each one of them individually in one-on-one interviews on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which you can find them on our Facebook page, our YouTube page, and our website. Or if you want them in your email inbox, you can sign up for our video alert. All those links are in the description below, but let's talk to Amelia. So, Amelia, thank you so much and congratulations on being a young pro this year. It's so exciting to have you here.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about your career to kind of start things off. And one of the things you mentioned in your survey responses to us was about this dream that you had of working at the EPA R&D lab, and you had this dream in high school. What was it that drew you to that dream, and you actually succeeded at reaching that, right?
Yeah, so I guess I should say I wasn't specifically looking to come to the R&D lab here in Cincinnati, but working at the EPA was something that I thought would be pretty cool. When I was in high school, when I started in high school, I was pretty sure I was going to be a meteorologist. I loved the weather, and I planned to go to college to pursue it. But as I got a little bit older in high school, started looking at colleges, realized I was looking at places that didn't even offer like meteorology or atmospheric sciences, and I thought I might need an alternate plan for what I want to do for my career. And so I think my interest in the weather kind of translated into an interest in the climate change, the environment, So I thought it'd be cool to work in the environmental field. But I think just through pure lack of knowledge, it was like, where does one work who wants to help protect the environment? Well, probably the place that's called the Environmental Protection Agency. Like that's probably the pinnacle. So I'm going to hope to do that one day. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, and so you did end up going on to work there for a while. Could you talk about some of your experience there and how has that led you to where you are now?
Yeah, sure. So when I graduated college, I was just looking for jobs, and an opportunity came up to work at EPA here at the research lab. And I worked on a program that was called the Water Technology Innovation Clusters Program. And it kind of had two objectives. One was to support this national network of water clusters. And clusters, I think, is an economics term. It's this kind of group of various stakeholders that come together around a certain area to ultimately promote the economy of the local geographic region that they're located in. So in the US, there was like 20 or 25 or so of these water cluster organizations, and our program essentially acted as a consultant to help them and help them succeed. And then the other part of the program was matching EPA researchers with usually a local inventor who had a technology that needed to be further tested and proven. So they would collaboratively research, and with the ultimate goal there to take that technology to market and commercialize it, hopefully, and through establishing a business here in the region to promote the economy here. So it was pretty cool. It was a great first job.
Yeah. Well, and now you work for IO Utilities, and
Yes.
I think over the years, several of your colleagues have been nominated and have been our young professionals. We had one last year as well. What's it like working with IO Utilities and knowing that you have such an illustrious group of younger people around your age?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So it is true. We do have a lot of young people, but I think that means we just have a lot of energy, and we're very excited, and we want to make a difference in the sector. We want to drive, innovation through working with our almost 80 now utility partners across the country. So, but yeah, we are go-getters, and we love what we do. We have a shared passion for making a difference, and I think that we all bring that to work every day, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, you touched on something there, this passion and like energy to share your work and whatnot. And one of the common themes that we did see with all of the young pros this year was how taken for granted water is and how you all are trying to make your work more visible to showcase why water is so important and why we should value water. Um, when did you come to that realization with when you were in the industry, and how have what ways have you been trying to subvert that? Is there I mean, you're in marketing, so I imagine that you have some tools at your disposal that you've been using to kind of turn that on its head and make it more well known.
Yeah, I think it was during my time at EPA. I was pretty young, and I really didn't know much about the industry when I started there. So I was surrounded by all of these brilliant scientists and researchers who were truly trying to tackle some of the biggest issues that we have in water today. And I think it kind of like opened my eyes. Like there's so much going on that I had no idea about. So if I don't know and I really like this stuff, like there's no way the general public has any idea what's going on. So yeah, I think that kind of just brought it to light for me. Um, but yeah, anyways, yes, I do, of course, through conversations and maybe some casual lecturing with family and friends, work to educate who I can reach in my personal life. Sometimes random strangers, sometimes Uber drivers, whoever will listen.
Oh, the Uber
um
driver talk. The number of times where they're like, "Oh, why'd you fly in today?" And you're just like, "Oh, I work in
exactly.
water. Did you know about this?"
Exactly. And I'm like, I see you're drinking some bottled water. Let me tell you something else. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So we hope to make a little bit of a difference there, little by little. But yeah, I do get to promote the value of water and through my marketing responsibilities here at Isle, which is great. Yeah, hopefully reaching a larger audience than I can in my day-to-day conversations.
Yeah. Well, and also inspiring the utilities that you partner with to also do the same, right? And to give them
Mhm.
the tools necessary to help them share that with their constituents. I'm sure is another aspect there that even if it's not a direct thing that you're doing, you're indirectly sharing with them how to do that. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And some of the utilities today have some great marketing programs. I'm sure you all see on social media and stuff. So they're also part of my inspiration. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh, there's plenty of great ones out there.
yeah, yeah,
I wanted to kind of swing a little bit toward the more personal side here, which is talking about your greatest influence. You mentioned your mom as being your greatest influence. I was curious. You mentioned several traits. Could you talk about some of the characteristics and traits that she embodies and displays that, especially while raising you and you and your siblings, um, how are you trying to how have you tried to incorporate what she raised you with into your personal and professional careers?
yeah, yeah, totally. So there's a couple big ones. One would be her hard work ethic. And I should preface this by saying my dad also really taught me this as well. So I don't want to leave him out of this. But for the purposes of this conversation, I'll just talk about my mom. She works in healthcare. And while she was raising my sister and me, like she was always studying for the next certification or accreditation or whatever it is that she needed to do to move forward in her career. And then she got her master's degree also while raising us and working full time. So all of those different things that she had to do to move forward in her career, like the hard work and dedication and commitment that it took, was just, I admire it so much. I don't know how her and my dad worked together to pull that all off. But yeah, I really admire it and I take that with me. And it's a reminder of I could always probably be working harder. Um, but yeah, that's a big one. And then my mom is the most detail oriented person, in my opinion, on the planet. But so she never missed a beat. I mean, she planned everything to a T. She saw and heard everything growing up. So she's on it. She still is. But I 100% have inherited her extreme attention to detail, for better or for worse. But yeah, I need it every day in my job. So it has worked to my benefit professionally. So I can thank her for that. Um, and then the last one I think is that my mom is very empathetic. And I remember one time when I was younger, I don't remember how old I was, but my mom had recruited my sister and me to help her on a work project. And she was responsible for training all of the employees at the hospital that she worked at, on how to be empathetic when they were caring for patients. And that's where I learned what empathy was, through this presentation that she was doing, and realized that my mom was very empathetic. So I've just carried it with me, and I've learned now as a professional how important it is in the professional setting to have empathy as a coworker and a fellow employee. Like I've recognized it in my how long ever I've been a professional now, and it's meant a lot to me. And I try to continue to display that as I move forward in my career too.
Yeah. Oh man, empathy is such a great trait, and to learn it so closely is something that's also really valuable. A lot of people don't learn that until they're in either in like in high school or college even, and they only learn it from peers. But to learn it so directly from your parent is pretty incredible.
I'm very grateful. Yeah.
You did mention I didn't have a question prepared for this at all, but you did mention your sister and you and your sister are twins. I wanted to touch on that because I don't have a very good question for this that isn't just something that you've probably already answered a million times. But I wanted to note that you are a twin, and you said that you're mirror twins, which is even more rare. But I just thought that would be fun to note for everyone who's watching.
Yes, that is true. I am an identical twin. She does not work in the water industry, so no
Ah,
one
it's a
ever has
shame.
to worry about that.
Yeah, that's a shame, but it might be part of why your mom has some good attention to detail if you guys are identical.
100%. No, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the other things that amused me about your survey responses was you're kind of like the things that you're doing to like pass the time when you're not at work, and you mentioned yard work a couple times and gardening and stuff like that. And I find it funny that the yard work because so many people don't like yard work. What was it about yard work that kind of gave it this lasting impression to you, and how's it become something that you're so proud of? Because it sounds like it was something that you and your new husband
Yeah.
got to do a lot of work together on. So.
Yes. Yes. It's funny. It's top of mind. Obviously, it's the spring, and I've been trying to get the yard ready. And also, like this past year, being at home, I think a lot of people, we spent more time in our yards than we probably did before. But
Mhm.
um, growing up, my sister and I were always out in the yard helping out my parents. We had a pretty big yard. And we were always doing container gardening on our deck. We had all the contraptions to try and get the best harvest we could get. But so it's something we always did and looked forward to. Um, but yeah, I think my sister and I, might have been forced a little bit into learning to love yard work in our youth. But now that I'm older, I still really enjoy it. I find it's there's always a new little kind of puzzle to solve. And I don't love them all, but I like to look up why something maybe isn't succeeding. Is it, the nutrients? Is it the water? Is it the light? It's so many different things that it could be. But I like to look it up and try to fix it. If I'm successful, then great. If not, oh well. But so that's one thing I think I like about it. And then another is just it's so gratifying to see something that you physically worked on, like physically manifest itself and grow and flourish. It's just really gratifying and is also probably going to be very beautiful. So it's nice to look at too, or eat if you are growing some vegetables. So those things. Then also, if you don't succeed, you can always start fresh next year. There's a new opportunity around the corner. So I think that's also a thing that I like about it. But yeah, I do enjoy making the yard look nice. It makes me happy. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, satisfied.
Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
in your professional life, you put so much effort and energy into things, and you do get to see the satisfaction of that. But a lot of
Yeah.
times with like your hobbies and stuff like that, there's not that same quantifiable
Yes.
thing,
Exactly.
right? But like when you can look out your window and be like, I did the yard, like I did all
Yeah.
of that. It's like a really cool way. It's a way to showcase and see your return on investment, essentially, right?
Yes.
Like to
Yeah,
use a business term.
it's exactly right. It was a bit of an investment last year. We kind of renovated the landscaping because this house had a previously kind of unmaintained yard, and I made it my mission that I was going to make it manageable and beautiful. So we did a lot of new installation last year. And I mean, this is a small yard. I don't want to make it sound like it's that impressive, but um to be able to see everything come back this year, nothing died, everything made it, and it's getting ready to bloom. It just is, yeah, a great return on my investment of time and money from last year for sure.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch too on the whole puzzle thing because it sounds like some of your like connecting the personal to professional here. Like you're taking a lot of those professional problem solving skills and applying them in a more fun way. So it does like it's also a way to like, all right, I'm gonna decompress by doing what I normally do for work but for fun. Because I do the same
Really.
type of thing, so I get it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So the last question that I have for you is one that I'm asking all the young professionals this year, and it's one that I think is really valuable because are constantly hearing about this workforce issue of making sure there's enough people in the pipeline to fill in all of the retirements, and what are we going to do with the legacy knowledge and all these things. Um, and so one of the big parts of that is just trying to fill up that pipeline specifically. And the question to you is, how would you cater to and grab the interests of the next generation of water industry workers?
Yes, I think I would first start by saying that I think the industry is here to stay, so they can be reassured about that.
Job
Um,
security.
yes, yes. But another thing I think I would tell them is that, well, I do think this next generation is particularly um, ready to make a difference. They're also very passionate about climate change and the environment. And of course, that's key. We need that. But with the interest in making a difference, I think working in water is a great place to do it. So I would tell them that. But I also would tell them that there's so many different types of career opportunities in water. I think when I first started out, I thought like, oh, I have to be one certain type of professional, but there you don't have to be. The industry needs so many different types of scientists, engineers, business people, IT people, educators, marketers, communicators, whatever it is. So as long as you share that passion and interest in wanting to work in water, or yeah, I think that there's probably a place for you.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that you brought that up because it as I was talking to you, I was thinking about how you're on this on the marketing side, and I think every interview that we've shared so far of our young professionals, each person has had a completely different role from the next, whether
Yeah,
it's an engineer or a director or a business development manager and now a marketer. Like we've already done 4 to 5 different titles right there, and they're all so wildly different from one another. Like the variety of career choice in the water industry isn't limited to I need to know science, you know?
exactly. Exactly. Yes, that is something that I worried about because, like I said, I thought I was going to kind of be a scientist when I was younger, and I ended up not being one. So I was definitely worried about it. And but you don't have to be. There's a lot of choices and a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Amelia. We appreciate you
Yeah.
taking all the time today and talking to us a little bit about your career path and what makes you tick and why you love your yard work so much. We really appreciate all the time. And for everyone who's watching, you can read some more about Amelia and all the other young professionals in the links below. And as I said before at the beginning of the episode, every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the entire month of May at 6 p.m. Eastern on our Facebook page, you can find new episodes with our young professionals and one-on-one interviews just like this. So check them out and go follow us on Facebook. And again, thank you so much, Amelia. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bob.